be said anymore. Can't even be said anymore. When I count all my blessings, my heart still hurts for the world that I know. Oh, the world that I know. Sinking down under the water, slipping down under, drifting out into the water, missing out under. Tell me what is it you care for? Is there even a care at all? Praying for sense of direction, praying for love and protection. Sinking down under the water, slipping down under, drifting out into the water, missing out under. Tell me what is it you care for? Is there even a care at all? Praying for sense of direction, praying for love and protection. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. If I call, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Remember me. Have mercy, have mercy. If I call, have mercy, have mercy. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, remember me. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy.
This is the Mental Health Summit 2020. We want to thank you for tuning in to the second annual event. Now, please welcome my friend and the creator of this marvelous event, Corey Sams.
Hello, and welcome to this year's event. The Mental Health Summit was created to educate, entertain, and facilitate normalcy around the topic of mental health and wellness. But what is normal anyway? Too often, we hear accounts of toxic family ties, relationships gone awry, substance abuse, and countless other stories be put down. The people attached to those stories belittled, and those stories swept under the rug to be forgotten. Taking care of your mental health is the foundation that your overall health is built on, and we acknowledge that. So this year's event, we're addressing the state of where we are as a community. We've seen the Black Lives Matter movement capture global attention during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, celebrities having mental breakdowns, and political tensions on the rise in response to this year's presidential election. Thinking about that is enough to trigger anybody. This is the Mental Health Summit 2020. We hope that we give you something that gets you the knowledge, gets the help, frees your mind. Enjoy.
Now coming to the stage, the host we love the most, Jasmine Newsom.
Hey y'all, I am Jasmine Newsom. I'm a speaker, writer, humanitarian, and the founder of Youth See Beyond, where we coach young people to find their purpose. You're still on.
It's a delay. It's not loud, so I should just stop. Keep going.
We are here for the second year for the Mental Health Summit. We know that it has been a long year. Listen, 2020 has felt like 3 years altogether. It's been a long 8 months. And right now, we think that if you are here, you are not here by accident. The Mental Health Summit is still early in its inception, but the mission is powerful. Today's event is going to be packed full of information, celebration, and entertainment. Speaking of, let's take a moment and acknowledge that amazing opening number put together by the talented Ashley Blake and Leah Christiana Nelson. Every single one of those dancers was amazing. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. Now I said, today would also be about celebration. And that's a new piece to this year's summit. Our next speaker thought he was only coming here to share his story, but we have a surprise for him. This year, we have created the TMHS Rebel Award, an award dedicated to celebrating mental health champions in their community. The recipient of this year's first Rebel Award is Brandon B.D. Todd.
BD, congratulations on this award. You literally are an inspiration and a light to everyone who meets you. They say it is a blessing to be a blessing unto others, and you absolutely are a blessing to everyone who knows you. Thank you so much for contributing yourself to the world, and congratulations on this award. Love you, friend.
It's your boy Big Rez, BD, aka Mr. Persevere, aka Mr. Comeback Better Than Ever. I'm proud of you, boy. Congratulations.
BD, what's good, bro? I'm out here in Texas right now, man, but I just want to make sure I take the time to tell you, man, that I love you. I'm super proud of you, man. The adversity that you have overcome in the past couple of years, man, is astounding. And I don't think there's another person in the world that can handle it as good as you have. So I love you, man, and keep grinding.
We love you, BD. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you persevering through everything that you endured.
Grandmama Bessie, I'm gonna let you know that she's very proud of you. So keep the good work going.
All right, BD. I had to get my family or whatever to say hello as well, but you know it's all love. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything you've done. Trust me, it does not go unnoticed. We appreciate you. And yeah, that's all I had to say.
Hello, my name is Khalil, and I'm BD's cousin. I'm BD's cousin / Auntie Wanda. My name is Cookie. I'm BD's one cousin. I'm BD Auntie, the great auntie. I am so proud of you. I love you, and keep up the good work. My name is Adrian. I'm the cousin.
And now, BD, I'm so proud of you for inspiring the youth, the boys in our community that don't have a lot of examples of a strong black man, and I love you for being that for them.
Hey, BD, it's Kiki. Keep being a light in this dark world. We love you. I'm so proud of you.
Jamal, I'm BD's first nephew. I'm proud of what he's doing at Brain. I love him, and I hope he keeps up the great work.
Yes, I'm Kadarius Cole, Brandon Todd's brother. I really want to just take this time out to thank you, brother, for doing what you're supposed to do. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. I love you.
Sergio Barrett, Brandon Todd is my cousin, well, more like my brother. And right now I want to let you know how proud I am of you and everything you accomplished.
Hi, I'm Shamanka Cole. I'm Brandon Todd's mother, and I just want everybody to know I'm very proud of him. And keep up the great work in the community, everything that you're doing. We're all proud of you, your whole family, and just keep up the great work and keep God first.
presenting me with this award. It definitely means a lot. Throughout this past year and about 3 or 4 months, I've been very resilient. Just want to give y'all a little background on where it all started. It was on March 17, 2019 when I had this very traumatic accident. Now, in order for me to move forward and really conquer a lot of things that were, in front of me, I had to be very strong mentally. I was in an accident, a motorcycle accident. It was very traumatic. A vehicle hit me from the back as I was trying to help another individual, and that ended up resulting in me receiving an amputation on my left leg. Went through about 4 to 6 weeks of hospitalization, and then I went through about 3 or 4 weeks of therapy, inpatient, and now therapy has still been ongoing. But throughout those months of 2019, I really had a lot of support from family and friends. But the best part about the entire situation was being able to wake up the next day and really put forth my best foot. And it took a lot mentally to be able to move forward, but with different practices, I was able to do it. I'm big on meditation, so that was one of the things that really helped me out when I was in the hospital. Luckily, I was practicing things of this nature before. I'm very big on the mental and self-care, and so I was just taking care of myself from the inside out, having quiet times, and just because, as you may not know, your thoughts are very loud when you're quiet, but it allows you to, really solve things. I wouldn't say at a faster rate, but just over time, and just really taking care of myself from the inside out I'm still speechless on this award, but it has really helped me get through this past year and a half, and there's so much more to conquer in this world, but I think that it must all start with the mind, and if we continue to put, the mind in a positive place, if we continue to utilize positive reinforcement, if we continue to have these affirmations, if we continue to do all these things that consist of building a healthy mind, then we'll be much better off in life each and every day. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Brandon, for your inspiring story. If you didn't know, Brandon's company, The Mind Clothing, which is the shirt he had on, is also a partner for this year's event, helping us raise funds to donate to our therapy fund. Part of what the Mental Health Summit does is help send people to therapy that may not have the financial means to do so. Therapy shouldn't be a luxury. Like our shirts made by the clothing say, you make sure you have your phone, your wallet, your keys. What about your mind? You take your mind with you wherever you go. Let's take care of it. If you want to donate to our therapy fund, the link for donations and shirts is in the description box. The donation link will be live for the rest of today. We thank you in advance for your generosity. Coming up next, we have a soulful vocal performance by the spirit-moving Rhea.
All right now, it's time to turn the volume up. This next artist hails from Columbus, Georgia. It's a Just Jam session production of a live vocal performance by the one and only Rhea 706, performing her original song, Don't Seem Like Nothing.
This is for anybody who's ever felt lost, wandering around the present, stuck in the past. Yeah.
Lately I've been thinking, gotta get back to you. Drowning out the noise, been drinking, just trying to get back to you right now. Gotta get back to you right now. Oh.
get back, yeah.
Sit down on my knees, trying to get back to
You
you
right
right
now.
now. Gotta get back
Gotta
to you
get back to
right
you.
now.
Lately, I've been wandering on this road. Took a wrong turn about 5 years ago. I said yes when you told me no. Yeah. Now I gotta pick up the pieces. Lord, won't you help me with the pieces? Yeah.
Lately I've been thinking,
I gotta get back, yeah.
drowning out the noise, been drinking,
I've been drowning
just trying
out
to get
the
back to
noise,
you right now.
Gotta get back to you
right now.
Sit down on my knees.
Down on my knees,
I
just
gotta
trying
get
to
back,
to
yeah.
you. Sit down on my knees,
I gotta
trying
get
to
back,
to
yeah.
you right now. Gotta get back to you right now.
Yeah, so break it down now. Hey. I've been holding on, traveling on this road. Take me home. So like this.
It might just be the brightness on the screen. Oh, yeah. That would look hella light versus the... Okay. That I see that performance, that I'm not gonna cry, but it was really emotional. Thank you, Rhea, for that beautiful song. The message in it truly embodies what this event is all about. We want you at home to feel like you. Sometimes we get away from ourselves. You gotta get back to you. Understand who you are at the core of you. And honestly, that's why I'm such an advocate for mental health awareness. So I started therapy in 2016 when I was in St. Louis. And my journey into therapy wasn't like most people. I didn't just wake up and say something's wrong, I probably should go see somebody. I was actually in grad school and I was struggling in my classes, and my mentor suggested that I get academically evaluated. And when I got academically evaluated, they were like, oh, you have also anxiety and depression. Now, hearing that as an African American woman, I'm like, what? I smile all the time. I'm usually happy. Why would I have anxiety and depression? And so that was a double whammy when I heard that. But my therapist said, continue to come to me. We're going to work through these things. I'm going to give you the tools. And she really helped me on my academic journey. Now, when I moved back to Atlanta, and I was done with my grad program, and I was home, and I was sitting with myself, I said, I probably need to see somebody else. And this time, I wanted to see an African American female. That African American female happens to be Christian as well. Rebecca has helped me so much in my journey. When I think about where I could be, where my life would be if it wasn't for her, then I honestly get emotional just talking about Rebecca. Rebecca has given me the tools to set boundaries in my life. She's given me the tools to advocate for myself. She's given me the tools to love myself more. She's given me the tools to walk away from situations that no longer serve me. And that is why I am such an advocate for mental health. I am such an advocate for therapy, and I recommend it to all of my friends and family because I want them to experience the joy and the freedom that I do. So, speaking of joy and freedom, we're going to get into our keynote speaker. Now, last year, I met this woman. I was moderating a panel. She was talking about her experience as a counselor, and it was amazing to hear that perspective. Because usually I'm just going in to talk to my counselor. I don't even know how they even come up with a plan for us. So I loved hearing from this woman, and I'm going to introduce her now. Charlotte Hogg is a wife and mother of 3 children within a blended family dynamic. Charlotte Hodge is a graduate of Howard University, where she studied communications and culture. She obtained her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from Argosy University. She has worked with adults, teens, and children with various diagnoses ranging from major depressive disorder, substance abuse, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. Charlotte uses Instagram to spark dialogue, which I follow, surrounding various mental health topics to reduce stigma and encourages people to seek therapy services. Charlotte currently works as a school-based therapist and is the owner of Open Dialogue Coaching and Counseling. Y'all, listen, this track record, she owned it, y'all. Where she provides therapy services and works as an executive professional coach for a startup tech company. Please welcome our keynote speaker, Charlotte Hodge.
Hey guys, I am Charlotte Hodge, as Jasmine said. My goal for speaking to you today, anytime I speak to an audience of people, I always have one goal in mind. That goal is that you guys are able to take something away. Even if it's just one thing that I say, I want to plant at least one seed, at least one nugget to help you guys be better, to help you guys do better, just to help you be better in your current existence. So today I thought about what's something that I can say that will really grab my audience in, that will kind of get you guys to say, oh, I want to know what it is she's going to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about the power of the P. Yeah, I said it, the power of the P. And the reason why I want to talk to y'all about the power of perspective, the power of your thoughts, the power of your choice, the power of the perspective of how you see yourself. Because guess what? How you see yourself dictates and determines how you think. How you think impacts how you feel. How you feel in turn impacts how you choose to exist and be in the world. How you perceive yourself in the world, how you perceive yourself as a person, how you perceive yourself in anything that you do will always 100% dictate your behaviors in the world, right? So let's talk about goals. You set these goals, you have these things that you want to accomplish in life, but guess what? If your perspective is that your goals are too big, if your perspective is that the challenges and the barriers are too big for you to get to those goals, then you've already counted yourself out. So that's why I talk about the power of the P, the power of perspective. Now, if you view yourself with tenacity, if you view yourself with determination, then guess what? You will be great. If you view yourself as nothing, if you view yourself as always discounting yourself, then guess what? You will be stuck in the midst of what you see yourself. So, like I said, the power of the P, perspective, your thoughts, your feelings, and in turn, your behaviors. So I want to talk about a guy that my husband is a mentor to. This young man graduated from Sandy Creek High School, is now playing football at Virginia Tech. He said, as a high schooler, he said that I know I have favor over my life, right? He has already told himself that he is going to graduate from Virginia Tech in 3 years. He's going to go pro. He gets to Virginia Tech as a freshman. And for those of you who know football, you know that Virginia Tech is not a bullshit school to go to and play football, right? He went to Virginia Tech and is now starting. He is on his path, on his goals of what he set out and set for himself because of his perspective. Because he's standing in his greatness, he affirmed his greatness, and his behaviors are dictating his greatness. Y'all see how that was? So that's why I want to talk to you about the power of perspective. The next thing that I want you guys to be mindful of, let's talk about your hate. Let's talk about that nasty stuff. Let's talk about that negativity. You see people who are negative in how they be, and how they choose to be and exist. You see people who walk around with a negative lens. How do they operate? They operate in negativity. How do they exist? They exist in negativity because it is a mindset and it is a perspective. So if you choose to be and exist in negativity, then your behaviors dictate and set precedents for everything that comes after that. If you stand in your truth, you stand in who you are, and you know that you are great, your thoughts will say that I am great. Your behaviors will say that I am great. You will sit in greatness and you will be and achieve greatness. So that's why I want to talk about the power of the P, which is perspective, which is your choice. We say that we want to be good. We say that we want to be great, but we have self-defeating thoughts. And where do you think those self-defeating thoughts are going to get you? In self-defeat. what I want to leave you guys with, because everything that I'm saying is all good, right? I'm saying have these amazing thoughts. I'm saying live in your greatness. I'm saying do all these things, but then you ask yourself, how do I get there? I've tried that. Let me talk to you about manifestation. Let me talk to you about writing things down. If you have a mindset and you know that you need to challenge your thoughts, then do that. Actively. I tell people in therapy with me, you and I are just sitting here having a conversation, but the actual work begins when you step out of my office. The actual work begins when you go home in your privacy with yourself and you sit down these things that you want to manifest for your life. And if you haven't written them down, I'm not sure how you think you're going to live in greatness. Because guess what? You're not taking the action behind the thoughts. Because every day we can sit and say that we want to be great and we want to achieve all these things. But the first step of action is to write it down. Write it down and write down what am I going to do tomorrow that's going to get me closer to that manifestation. If you know you sit in negativity and you know you have self-defeating negative thoughts, you have to challenge those thoughts. The action behind that is to get a journal, get a piece of paper. When you experience those negative thoughts, write a positive thought right beside it. That's an intervention that has been proven to be successful. And I stand on this underneath a theory called cognitive behavior theory. Google it. And what he essentially says is that, once again, the power of the P. Your thoughts impact your feelings, which impacts your behaviors. Now that's the whole concept of theory, of cognitive behavior theory that sounds good, but if you put the work behind it, you will be great and do great. So once again, I want to encourage you with the action behind thinking in your greatness, which is write it down, manifest it, allow it to sit in, allow it to sink in. Now later we're going to have a panel. I want you guys, if you have questions, put the questions in the chat. If you have comments, put the comments in the chat and we'll be able to address those later. When you have those thoughts, I just want you to know the power of the P. I want you to be able to say that to yourself. Question yourself and challenge yourself. Don't challenge others until you've challenged yourself. Don't encourage others to be great until you've encouraged yourself to be great. The power of the P.
Now, I know you heard Jasmine say get your notebooks. Go ahead and get them out, because this next performance is meant to help you focus while you journal on this topic. How does it feel to be you right now? Please welcome the talented 16-year-old professional cellist, Khalil Cello Boy Payne, to the Just Jam Session stage, performing Elgar's Cello Concerto, the first movement.
This one into this gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yet another moving performance. Did you guys see that? He was 16 years old, a professional cellist. We love to see it. Keep it up, young black man. Now we've had beautiful performances, and we've seen today. And we've even had an amazing keynote. One thing I'm going to remember is the power of peace. Perspective is everything. It's time for our last segment of today's event. Last year, this was the main event. This was the thing that we were able to do mainly last year. Our panel discussion. This year, we decided to switch it up a bit. I'm not sure if you remember our keynote speaker, Charlotte Hodge, but she has a professional counseling and coaching service located here in Atlanta, Georgia. This year's panel discussion is brought to you by Charlotte's Open Dialogue Coaching and Counseling. I don't want to prolong this any further. Let's get right into it.
Keep talking.
Yes, so we're going to talk about some mental health stuff. We're going to hope that to give you guys some tools. We're going to coach you guys to be able to show you exactly what you need to do in order to have your mental health journey.
Hey guys, so welcome to our Open Dialogue panel discussion. We have Jeremy here, who also has a background in mental health as well. We have our two audience members who will be here helping us facilitate the dialogue. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, please put it in the box. We do have somebody that will be monitoring our questions, comments. So whatever you have, whatever you're able to give us, you guys can engage in the dialogue too. Just because you're virtual doesn't mean that we can't get you guys in here as well. So please put whatever comments, whatever questions you have, and we're gonna pull you guys into this dialogue as well. I don't want you guys to think that it's just us or it's everybody.
So we really want to talk about how you guys are feeling in 2020. We have heard the term unprecedented 1,000 times. I'm personally sick of hearing it, but it generally is the current feeling of the world. So what have you been doing? You know, how are you feeling? How are you guys feeling?
It's interesting. I'm feeling a couple things. Like, I know the main thing is stress. Like, there's so much stress, and at first, like, I went into it, I saw the situation, I saw things going on with Black Lives Matter, I see the things going on with coronavirus and just everything. And at first, I went into it saying, you know, I really need to be strong right now. I really need to take each day and focus on what I have to do. But after a while, I felt myself waking up and just feeling stressed. And I woke up in the morning, and I was like, man, why do I feel so stressed? And you know, I couldn't really pinpoint the exact reason why. And I realized it's the combination of everything going on. Like, the things happening are not normal. It's not typical. It is unprecedented. And, you know, how we each deal with it, you know, really means a lot. And it really is going to help us transition to the next stage. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely stressed, but I think as of late, exhausted. I just feel very tired. I feel at a point I felt rejuvenated and I felt like things felt like they were getting better in a sense, and I got a handle of, okay, I know I'm not gonna go out to brunch on Sunday. Like, I know I'm not gonna do these things. But I think after a while, I started to feel the exhaustion. It's hard to find a way out of, you know, doing the routine that I've gotten used to. It's hard to rejuvenate that over and over again.
Absolutely, 100%. And so you bring up a very, very good point. Because mental health doesn't always manifest itself mentally. You start to feel the physical effects of it. And that's what that exhaustion is. You feel like, you know, you can't, some people feel like they can't get up every day. They just want to lay there because they don't have that willpower anymore. It's gone. And it is the culmination of everything that's going on.
Absolutely. And something that I try to tell people and talk to people about, if you think of what everybody, not just you guys, but even me as a clinician, even Jeremy with his extensive experience in mental health, like it's blow after blow, right? So if you think about it, we talk about small T's, which are small traumas. So we have our big T's, which are our big traumas, and then we have our little T's, which are little traumas that we don't think about. And we are experiencing repetitive little T's. And when you have those little T's that are happening over an extended period of time, the implication of that is still, it equates to like that big T. So what happens is, first we had the pandemic thing, right? So we're trying to adjust, we're trying to shift, we're trying to get our footing in that. And so then what happens next? We have this big, huge, and it's not even new, it's ongoing, but then we have another black life that's taken from us at the hands of officers, right? And so then after the pandemic hit, and then we have a few of those that hit back to back. So it's these little T's, little T's, little T's. And what I tell people all the time, for us as African Americans, we are built on the back of our ancestors. So what society teaches us and what history has taught us is that we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep going. Like, we have to persevere. And so what happens when you continue to persevere, but you're not taking care of the little T's? You are exhausted. You are burnt out. You're not existing. So what I see a lot, especially as it relates to the professional coaching that I do, employees in your workforce, you don't have the motivation, you go to work and you're not producing, and like Jeremy said, like, it's not just your mental state, but now it's coming up in our behavior, right? So I want everybody to be aware of that and acknowledge for yourself that we are going through little T's. And so how do you regroup yourself when you regroup, and then we're kind of in a footing, but then guess what? What just happened? We had the death of our Black Panther. So then that's another little T, and we're sitting in that. And so now we have a presidential election is going on, and that's sitting in the back of all of our minds of who's going to be our president. Is it going to be another 4 years of us sitting under this, what's the word?
More little T's.
Right, more little T's.
And so we talk about all this, right? But we want to be solution focused. So, let's talk about how we have been coping. What have you been doing to kind of break up the monotony of everything that's been happening to you, all these little T's back to back?
Yeah, I'll speak on that a little bit. I know for me, working is like a way that I cope with a lot of the things I have going on. Like, I really enjoy my career, and when I really sit back and I focus on that, I feel myself growing, and the stresses of life, it eases up a little bit. Also some other things, just like really getting back to like my hobbies, and just taking up time. A big thing is just making sure that I don't have too much idle time. So I'll put more things in my schedule, do more things, just keep me active, keep me, in communication with people, and not really like it's. Absolutely.
And you guys out there, put in the comment section what you guys are doing. We want to know, talk to us. Let us know what you guys are doing, because like I said, we want to pull from you guys too, to bring you into the dialogue.
So from Alicia Stewart, what are good, healthy ways to cope with stress and anxiety?
Good question. Okay, so, just like I said, that social connectivity piece is powerful and dynamic. I do not want you guys to think that being socially connected with other people is not important. Research and studies show that just if you go to the park and you just feel the connectivity of other people around, you don't even have to engage, but just being around other human interaction is beneficial. So if that means you just want to go and take a blanket and sit at the park and just people watch, that social connectivity piece is awesome and powerful and dynamic. That's one thing that I think in the midst of COVID, a lot of people are not doing, and we aren't getting that social connectivity piece. So go on those Zooms and get in those Zooms with family members and friends. Like, I know people laugh at that, but do those Zoom parties. Have those wine and cocktail hours with your friends. Talk on the phone, reach out to people. Like, make sure you're doing that social connectivity piece. Another thing that is really powerful, take a 30-minute walk. That reduces stress and that reduces anxiety. And I use that for myself when I experience anxiety. I will go take one lap around the park, and although anxiety and stress can still be there, it's reduced. So it's not as present and not as strong as what it was before. So definitely take a walk. That's easy. And I do slow strolls sometimes. Not like a power walk, it's like a lazy walk. So you don't have to be like lifting 20-pound weights or anything or running a mile. Just go outside and take a walk. Jeremy,
sure. So let's dial it back, right? There are a lot of people that don't want to leave their houses. So what can we do at home to maintain some kind of sense of serenity and peace within ourselves, right? So it's a matter of breaking out a journal, like you mentioned earlier. Write down in those moments of anxiety and stress what you are feeling. Write it down. Sometimes just seeing it on paper is a moment in itself, and it'll allow you to be like, man, what is really the root of this? What's really the cause of this? And then it starts to get you to thinking about what can I do to kind of push this to the side and push forward. It doesn't have to be like Charlie was saying, an active out here lifting 20-pound weights. It doesn't have to be that. Hey, talk to your family, like you were saying earlier. A simple phone call really can make a difference. It doesn't even have to be the family. Call your friends. Call a coworker if y'all cool like that. And just ask them how their day is going. It really doesn't have to be anything out of the way, and you'll see how much of an impact that small thing can really make for you.
Another thing that I want you guys to be mindful of, that I know a lot of us, including me, because I didn't think I had 15 pounds to lose, but apparently I did. Your eating habits and your sleep can make monumental changes in your moods. So what you're putting into your body is going to determine what your body is giving you. So if you don't have a good relationship with your body and food, you can't expect for your stress levels, for that anxiety to be kind of balanced. You're sleeping. I think a lot of us have gotten out of a good sleeping pattern, but the sleep that you give your body is important too. I would encourage you guys to try and get on a consistent sleep pattern, because what happens is if you're going to sleep at 2 o'clock one night, 12 o'clock another night, getting up at 6 o'clock one morning, or sleeping until 12 o'clock another morning, guess what? You're talking and dialoguing with your body, and you're telling your body, I don't know what the hell is going on. And so guess what your body is forced to do? Your body is forced to figure it out on its own. So you're not congruent, you are not congruent with your body. So if you are not congruent with your body as it relates to your eating and your sleeping, your body is going to figure it out however it sees necessary. But if you're corresponding with your body in a healthy way, like I'm going to give you these foods that I know is going to fuel you in a positive way, I'm going to give you whatever exercise or whatever sleep that you need in a positive way, then your body will respond to that in a positive way. So if you know you're not good with eating, get some multivitamins. Let the body know. That's what I have to do sometimes. Get the vitamins that will give you those sufficient nutrients that you need.
We talked about energy or exhaustion earlier. I mean, that's definitely an element of it. If you're not getting a proper rest and sleep, you're going to be all kinds of
all over the place.
So you have to monitor every aspect of, I kind of just take a step back and look at what's going on in your space, in your current space. What am I doing? Who am I talking to? Because that could be a detriment.
Let's talk about it.
That could be a detriment to what you have going on and how you're feeling mentally. So take some time to really assess your space. Because everybody shouldn't be in that space, and everything that you're doing shouldn't be in your space. So just really take the time to think about it, write it down, journal it, or have the conversations to tell somebody what you're doing. Reach out to that person that you know you can confide in, so they can be like, hey, this don't sound right, or this doesn't look right the way that you're doing this. Maybe we should take a look at it and talk about it. There's definitely a lot of elements. We are just, it's stressful. Life is a ball of stress right now. But we can definitely combat it. We want to be solution focused, and those are just some of the ways you can do that.
Any other questions from the floor?
So what do you recommend to be the best diet for bettering your mental health?
Okay, first of all, let's talk about what is not good.
That'll probably be the better way to start.
And this is research that I've done for myself. Sugars are not good, okay? If you can eliminate, just me eliminating sugars and like white potatoes, those bad carbs, just sugar and bad carbs, you will feel, if you eliminate sugar and bad carbs for a week, you can tell a major difference. So if you're drinking a lot of sodas, if you're drinking a lot of just juice, if you eliminate, like I would say start there. Also, if you do a search, I know I don't necessarily recommend antipsychotics for, that's a whole other topic we don't have time for that today, but I would definitely say do a Google search for natural vitamins and supplements for anxiety and depression. There is a wealth of information out there, and I actually take natural supplements to help with moods, to help with mood stabilization, because my body and hormones is going through some tricky stuff. So I would definitely say do your research to figure out what are some natural healthy vitamin supplements that you can take. What else?
I would definitely say healthy foods. I mean, all the stuff that your mama tried to give you that you didn't want. So, get those vegetables in there. It seriously does make a difference, guys. Honestly, and I'm no dietitian, I'm no nutritionist, but cut the dairy out as much as you can. People don't realize how much that clogs their system. Definitely hurts more than it helps. So if you can cut that dairy out, and people don't realize how much dairy is in the things that we eat. So take the time to. That can be one of those things that you can do to kind of relieve your stress. Take some time to read some food labels.
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy. Just do the research on the food you're eating, because I've had an experience with my daughter, and the hormones in milk just aren't healthy for us. So do your research, Google it, and like I said, make sure you are being mindful of what you're putting in your body.
I had a question. So you did kind of touch on it a little bit, but what do you think the prevalence is for a lot of people right now that are experiencing anxiety and depression, and what is the best way for them to try to seek help or express that? Because I know in the African American community, that's not something that people are willing to express. They're not just going to come out and say like, hey, I have anxiety. But I know definitely just being in school and things like that, a lot of my classmates have anxiety. I have anxiety, but that's not something that people just will volunteer. So how are you supposed to get help if it's, especially in the Black community, it's not something you can just say?
So this is the thing with therapy. I do think it's important, and this is a common myth. You have to have a problem, or something has to be wrong with you, or you have to have anxiety or depression to seek therapy, and that's not true. I think even if you don't have any we all have symptoms of mental health, but if you really want help and you really want a professional, therapy is effective. I think what happens is because a lot of people, typically what we see about therapy is what we see in mainstream media, which is on TVs and in movies. And that is therapy, but it's with an entertainment, like, spin on it, And I think people don't realize that there are all faces of therapy. So like you have me, I'm a therapist, and I'm just a regular person, right? So people don't understand that when you come to therapy, the therapist is there to facilitate the dialogue and the conversation for you. The therapist is there to encourage you to know that you are your own expert on your life. I'm just here to help you facilitate your own answers that you already have. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. Let's explore, and let me give you some takeaways. I'm gonna throw things at you like spaghetti to see what sticks. I'm gonna encourage you to do certain things to see what helps or what doesn't help. But I tell people finding a therapist sometimes can be like dating. Because guess what? You might go to a therapist and it's like, yeah, I'm not feeling him. And that's okay, but that doesn't mean that therapy is not good, or that doesn't mean that therapy can't be effective. It's just that you weren't able to build a really good rapport with that person. I see a therapist, and if your therapist don't see a therapist, ask your therapist why they don't see a therapist. But I think that there are a lot of myths, a lot of misconceptions about what it's like to do therapy. And there's so many streams now of therapy. They have platforms where you can get, it's called Open Path. You can get therapy at a discounted rate. Google it. It's Open Path. Guess what? Therapists can't charge you more than $60 a session. Your insurance, you can use your insurance. And with copays, sometimes your copay is $25 a session. And you can go to therapy how you want to go. If you want to go every week, if you want to go every other week, if you want to go once a month, it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think the misconception behind therapy is, oh, I don't have money for it, or I don't want to go talk about my problems. I tell my clients, I'm here to talk about what you want to talk about. And if you don't want to talk about that shit that you need to talk about, if that's not what you want to address today, I support you in that. And we'll get to it when you're ready to get to it. But you lead that therapy session how you see fit. Therapy should be a safe, comfortable space for you. But I want you guys to know if you're not uncomfortable in therapy, you're not growing, right? So I tell clients, if you're always comfortable when you come see me, then you're not doing no work. Because growth comes with being uncomfortable, right? But it should be a very positive experience for you where you are growing. So don't be scared to go to a therapist, and find a therapist that you feel like you can connect with. There's a lady that has a whole movement called track therapy. Google it. And so she wants to appeal to Black people who have these misconceptions. And she's from the hood, and she wants to target people that are from the hood. So she calls herself the track therapist. You just have to find a therapist that is congruent to you and your life. There are therapists that their specialty is LGBTQ. You go to a therapist that specializes and sees clients within the LGBTQ population. If you want to see a therapist because you want to work on weight, then go to some. You just have to find, why am I going to therapy? What it is that I want to work on? and you find a therapist that has that specialty with what you want to work on. And if it doesn't work, break up with the therapist and find a therapist that works for you. I know that was long, but I'm very passionate about people being against therapists. Come to me, I'll be your therapist, but we're not playing no games. You come to me, we're doing work and we're going to grow. So, if you want to go to therapy and grow, call me. But however, if you come to play games, I don't play games. So.
And that's just that on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's also, again, let's dial it back a little bit. I like to acknowledge that you've admitted that this is what you're feeling. That's the first step.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate that moment as well. Like Char mentioned earlier, we have all these small T's that keep happening, right? And so let's also acknowledge our small A's, our little accomplishments, no matter how small they are, because they do mean something. That's that step towards the bigger A, the larger goal, or the bigger G, let's call it, the larger goal. So just, acknowledging that you're feeling this stress, that you're feeling this anxiety is step one. But talk to somebody. If you're still feeling the stigmatization of therapy right now, and you don't feel comfortable reaching out, talk to somebody. At the very least, it doesn't have to be a professional in this moment. Do know that the professionals can really get you to where you need to be. So talk to somebody. That's the most important part. There's so many people out here who get lost in the rigmarole of it all, and they end up losing their lives because they feel like they don't have anybody to reach out to. So talk to somebody. If you don't leave here with anything else, leave here with that.
We have one more question from D. Sams. How much influence, i.e. God, does having a relationship with a higher power determine the state of one's mental state?
Okay, so let me tell y'all, because that's a real question. When I do assessments, whether it is for 5-year-old kids or it is for 50-year-old adults, the questions on all assessments ask you what support do you have and what is one reason to leave. So it is highly important to know that you have something bigger than yourself. And if it's not God, that's fine. But you have to believe in and know that there's something that is bigger than you. We call it a protective layer, right? Because if you don't have anything that's bigger than yourself as a protective layer of your will to live, then what are you living for? So yes, I do want to say spirituality is very important. Like I said, even the assessments that I do with 5-year-olds, we do ask about supportive measures, people. We also ask about protective layers, which is spirituality. So it's highly important to believe in something or follow something that is bigger than you.
Definitely, 100%. And so I like that. It was also said the higher power, because like you said, it doesn't have to be God. Spirituality is very vast. There's a large variety of it. And I think that even sometimes that something bigger than you can be within yourself. It's still bigger than you, but it comes from within, right? So we have to be knowledgeable and acknowledge that. That's very important. Also, I would like to say that as far as spirituality is concerned, again, find something within yourself to kind of choose from, and go from there with where your spirituality leads. It does not have to be what your parents have told you. It doesn't have to be what you hear, from the outsiders. Again, sit with yourself and acknowledge what it is you are personally feeling, where your thoughts are. There are a lot of people in the therapy community, LGBTQ people especially, that I know of, who can't really relate to our traditional upbringings of Christianity or whatever it may be, not to pick on Christianity, but I think it's just very important to acknowledge that everybody is not there. Everybody does not acknowledge God, and that is okay. In the land of therapy, that is okay. So whatever it is that you feel like you connect with, that's what you connect with.
Absolutely. And I think it's also important, just to talk about what you said, is I think some of the hardest times that I've had personally, I think I would not have gone through it or gotten to the other side of it, not understanding that God loved me. Even when I felt like nothing else was going right or nobody else cared about me, I knew God loved me. And I knew I had friends, it's important to have a community, like you said. I had friends who, if I couldn't speak to them, like when I was really depressed and I couldn't speak
speak to anybody. I had friends praying for me. I had friends who were going to work on my behalf when I couldn't do the work. But it's also understanding that if you aren't there, if you don't understand like how much he loves you or how much God can love you and bring you through those times, that there are always people that do love you, that there are people that God has placed around you to bring you to that point, to understand that he does care about you. And even if you can't see it, he has angels and people that are going to speak that to you. And just because you may not see it in the moment, because it's real ghetto out here right now. So it's real ghetto. So I think it's important to acknowledge that and to acknowledge that there is more for your life, because as soon as you wake up, you have an obligation to do something for others, and that is really our biggest purpose in life, is to make sure we help each other.
So that is a good way to wrap up and end the panel. Yes, just the major themes of connection, people, having those tools to go to, eating healthy. Like you said, you have hobbies. We all have things to depend on, that social connectivity. And if that's not working for you and you're still struggling, it's okay to get help. It's okay to see a therapist that works for you, right? So thank you guys for joining. I'm sorry we weren't able to get to all the questions, the comments, but thanks for being present and allowing us to have this dialogue for you guys.
Wow, that was amazing. I'm not sure about y'all, but I got a lot of answers. Asante is right, it's real ghetto out here, but we have the tools to be able to navigate this space. We have the skills to be able to navigate this space. I hope that you are leaving here with some type of knowledge, some type of awareness, some type of normalcy about mental health. To take that seriously in your life, especially in this season. I saw a meme on Instagram the other day, and it said, we don't have a choice anymore but to go there. So please make sure you are utilizing those resources. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you was able to get some knowledge, some new practices, and help yourself to be able to ease your mind. It's been a pleasure to serve as your host again for the second iteration of the Mental Health Summit. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at The Mental Health Summit. Share your takeaways, tag us in your pics and videos. We love to share and build community around the topic of mental health. I hate to say that it's over, but we've reached the end. I'm your host, Jackson Newsom. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Brotham John, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sandra Blaine, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Nina Pop, Rashad Brooks, John Crawford, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Stephon Clark. RIP to every Black person who has also died wrongfully by the hands of police that was never recorded. There are so many hashtags we'll never be aware of. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Brotham John, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sandra Blaine, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Nina Pop, Rashad Brooks, John Crawford, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Stephon Clark. RIP to every Black person who has also died wrongfully by the hands of police that was never recorded. There are so many hashtags we'll never be aware of. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Brotham John, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sandra Blaine, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Nina Pop, Rashad Brooks, John Crawford, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Stephon Clark. RIP to every Black person who has also died wrongfully by the hands of police that was never recorded. There are so many hashtags we'll never be aware of. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Brotham John, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sandra Blaine, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Nina Pop, Rashad Brooks, John Crawford, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Stephon Clark.